most dangerous moment in your investing life is not a market crash. It is the day your account hits $100,000. Because that is the exact moment most people stop doing the thing that got them there. Not bad luck. Not a recession. One of 3 decisions that feel completely reasonable at the time. Today we are going to meet 3 people who all hit the same number. Same $100,000. 3 different decisions. 3 completely different endings. By the end of this, you will know exactly which decision you are about to make, and exactly how to make the right one instead. Before we get to them, you need to understand why this number changes everything. Before 100,000, you are the engine. Every dollar you put in does the work. You push the ball uphill with your own hands every single month. But at 100,000, the ball starts moving on its own. Look at the number on screen. That is what $100,000 earns in 1 year just sitting in the market, every month, while you sleep. For the first time in your life, your money is working harder than you are. Charlie Munger, the man beside Warren Buffett for 40 years, said the first 100,000 is the hardest money you will ever earn. After that, the ball rolls for you. But most people reach this number and immediately do something that stops the ball. And every single one of them feels completely smart in the moment. Sarah is 32 years old. She works in tech. Sarah hit 100,000 in just 7 years by saving hard and investing every month without fail. She was proud of herself. She had every right to be. But Sarah did not look at her 100,000 and feel safe. She looked at it and thought, now I can do something bigger. She saw it as ammunition, not a wall. Now meet Ryan, 28 years old. He works as a nurse, night shifts mostly. He reached 100,000 at 28, something most people don't manage until their mid-30s or later. But instead of feeling proud, the number scared him. He had seen colleagues lose money in market crashes. He had read the headlines. He watched the market drop and recover and drop again. He was not willing to risk everything he had worked that hard to build. So he made a decision that felt like the only responsible thing to do. And it quietly cost him more than any crash ever would have. And lastly, Diana. 34 years old. She works in marketing. It took Diana 11 years to save her first 100,000. 11 years of bringing lunch to work instead of buying it. 11 years of watching her friends go on trips she said no to. 11 years of watching a number grow slowly while everyone around her seemed to be living freely. The night she crossed it, she felt something she had not expected. Not peace, not happiness. Something more dangerous than either. She felt like she had finally made it. And that feeling is exactly where her trouble started. 3 people. Same starting line. Same $100,000. Now watch what each of them did next. Because this is where everything splits apart. Sarah hit 100,000 on a Sunday morning. She was still in bed. She had been investing every month for 7 years without missing once. Simple funds. Same amount, every month. No matter what the market was doing. She opened her app, and the number was just sitting there. She screenshotted it, sent it to her best friend, got a row of fire emojis back. Then she lay there, staring at the ceiling, and felt something she had not expected. Not satisfaction, restlessness. 7 years of doing the boring thing. 7 years of watching other people make bigger moves while she kept buying the same quiet funds. She had proven she could be disciplined. Now she wanted to be fast. So Sarah moved $40,000 out of her simple funds and into what she told a friend were more exciting opportunities. Hot stocks. Options she had spent about 3 weeks reading about. Things that felt like they were about to take off. For 3 weeks, it worked. Her $40,000 turned into $52,000. She checked her phone every hour. She felt sharper than she had ever felt. She felt like the simple approach had been holding her back. Then the market moved against her. The same thing that had pushed her money up now pushed it back down. Fast. 52,000 became 19,000 in 9 days. She lost $21,000. Not because she was stupid, because she confused a short run of good luck with skill. Look at what that 40,000 would have become if she had simply left it where it was on screen. Here is the rule. Your first 100,000 is not money to experiment with. It is your base. You do not pull the base out from under yourself to build higher. If you want to try picking individual stocks or making bigger bets, that is fine. But keep it to a small, separate pot. 5% of your money at most, clearly separated from everything else. That way, if it goes badly, your base never feels it. Sarah had to spend years rebuilding what she lost in 9 days. You now know what she learned the hard way. If this is already making you think, subscribe to Marcus Finance and turn on notifications. The next mistake is the one that surprises everyone. Ryan hit 100,000 on a Thursday night shift. He did not find out until his break. He was sitting in the staff room at 2 in the morning, vending machine humming behind him, half-eaten sandwich on the table, and he opened his investment app the way he sometimes did just to check. And there it was, $100,000. He put his phone down, picked up the sandwich, sat there for a moment in the quiet of a hospital at 2 in the morning with no one else in the room. Then he went back to his shift. He did not tell anyone. There was nobody to tell at that hour, and even if there was, he would not have known what to say. He had worked 12-hour nights for 3 years to get to that number. He had saved carefully, spent carefully, said no to things quietly without making a big deal of it, and now he had it. But instead of feeling proud, something else came with it. Fear. Because for the first time, he had something real to lose. He had read about people who had saved for years and then watched it disappear in a market crash. He had seen colleagues talk about money they had lost. He had watched the headlines during the bad years when markets dropped 30–40%. He had worked too hard for this number to let the market take it. So Ryan moved his entire 100,000 into a savings account. Not a current account, a proper high-interest savings account. He told himself it was temporary, just until things settled down, just until he felt sure enough to invest properly. That was 3 years ago. He still checks the balance every week. The number is still there. It has never dropped. And every week when he checks it, that feels like proof he made the right call. But here is what Ryan does not see. While his number sits still, the world around it keeps moving. Rent goes up every year. Food costs more. Fuel costs more. Everything costs a little more every year than it did the year before. That is just how the world works. And it means his 100,000, the same number on the screen every single week, is buying a little less every single year. Not because the market crashed. Not because anyone made a mistake. Just because time kept moving and his money did not. Look at the screen. That is what staying in a savings account actually cost Ryan over 10 years. He never saw a single red number. He never had a bad day. He lost that money so quietly he never felt it leave. Ryan was protecting himself from a crash that might have dropped his money 20% for a while. Instead, he guaranteed himself a loss that never stopped and never showed up on any screen. The answer is not to throw everything into the market and check it every day. The answer is simple. Keep enough in savings to cover 3 to 6 months of your living costs. That money is your safety net. It stays in cash. That is what it is for. Everything else needs to be somewhere it can actually grow. Because the scariest thing in investing is not the market dropping. It is 10 years passing and realizing the money you were protecting lost value every single year while you were busy keeping it safe. It was a Saturday night. Diana was home alone. No plans, just her, the sofa, and her phone. She had been checking her investment account every few days for the past month, watching the number creep closer. Then she refreshed it one more time. And there it was. $100,000. She put the phone face down on the cushion beside her, picked it back up, checked again. Same number. She didn't cry. She didn't celebrate. She sat completely still for a few minutes, the TV on in the background, the sound of the street outside, everything normal around her, while something that had taken 11 years just quietly happened on a Saturday night with nobody watching. Then she picked up the phone and called her mum. Not because she had anything specific to say, just because she needed one person to know. But the next morning, something was different. She woke up, and for the first time in 11 years, she did not feel that quiet pressure she had carried everywhere. That voice in the back of her head that said, "Not yet, not this month, wait." It was gone. And without that voice, small decisions started feeling different. Her car had 200,000 miles on it. It broke down twice last year. She had been putting off replacing it because of the cost. But now, she had $100,000. A car payment felt small, so she signed for a newer one, $540 a month. A few weeks later, a nicer flat came up near her office. She had been in the same place for 6 years. $400 more a month. She took it. Then she stopped packing her lunch as often. It was only a few pounds a day. She could afford it now. She still felt like she was being reasonable. She was not buying a yacht. She was not going on holiday every month. She was just finally living like someone who had done the work. And that is the most dangerous part of Diana's story, because none of it felt wrong. Each thing on its own was completely defensible. The car was practical. The flat was sensible. The lunches were nothing, but add them all together, and Diana was spending about $1,100 more every month than she had been spending before she hit the number. That is $1,100 a month that stopped going into her investments. Look at the screen. That is what $1,100 a month would have grown into over the next 20 years if she had kept investing it. The answer is not to never buy anything. The answer is to decide what your life costs before the money arrives. Set the number, make it automatic, and when the raise comes, let most of it go to savings before you ever feel it in your account. That one rule is the difference between Diana's story and the one she deserved. Here is the thing Diana, Sarah, and Ryan all had in common. They all had the same goal for years, $100,000, and they all hit it. And then the goal disappeared. For years, that number had kept them moving forward. It gave them a reason to say no to things, a reason to be patient, a reason to keep going when it felt slow. Then they touched it. And with no new goal waiting on the other side, the brain went looking for something else to focus on. Diana filled the gap with spending. Sarah filled it with excitement. Ryan filled it with fear. All three different reactions to the same problem. No next goal. The fix is embarrassingly simple. Before you finish celebrating hitting 100,000, decide what the next number is. 250,000. 500,000. 1 million. Write it somewhere you will see it every day. Your phone wallpaper. A sticky note on your desk. Anywhere it will be visible every morning. A clear next target gives your discipline somewhere to go. Without it, the discipline that built everything slowly falls apart. So what should you do the moment you hit 100,000? First, understand what this number can do if you simply leave it invested and do nothing else. Look at the screen. At a normal market return of 8% per year, $100,000 doubles roughly every 9 years. On its own, without you adding anything. 9 years, 200,000. 18 years, 400,000. 27 years, 800,000. 30 years, over $1 million. You never added a single penny. That is what happens when you stop pushing the ball and just let it roll. Now look at what happens when you keep adding a small amount every month on top of that. Look at the screen. $500 a month added to that same 100,000 over 30 years. That is the power of having a base already in place when you keep adding to it. Your job has changed. Before 100,000, your job was to push. After 100,000, your job is to not stop it. Here is something Ryan never thought about while his money sat in that savings account. He was so focused on keeping the number safe that he never asked a more important question. Is my money sitting in the right place? When your investments make money, the government takes a cut of it every year in a normal account. That means less growing, less compounding, less money at the end. But there are accounts where that cut disappears completely. A 401k lets you put money in before tax. More goes in. You pay later in retirement. A Roth IRA works differently. You pay the tax once now, then everything that money earns from that point forward is yours. No tax on the growth, no tax when you take it out. For decades. Ryan was so worried about the market taking his money that he never noticed the government was quietly taking a share of what little his savings account was earning anyway. The moment you cross 100,000, ask yourself one question before anything else. Is my money in the most tax-efficient place it can be? Fill the special accounts first, then let any extra spill into a normal one. That one ordering decision alone can add hundreds of thousands to your final number over a lifetime. No risk, no exciting opportunities, just the right container. Here is something Diana never stopped to think about before she upgraded the car. She hit 100,000, but she still had debt. Most people do. A car loan, a credit card, something left over. Here is the simple question to ask before anything else. What is the interest rate on what I owe? If it is high, like a credit card charging 20%, paying it off first is the best investment you can make. Guaranteed 20% return. No market needed, no risk, instant. Diana put $540 a month into a car payment she did not need to make while carrying a credit card balance she was paying interest on every month. She was paying to borrow money while letting money she already had sit and do nothing useful. Kill the high-interest debt first, then invest. If the rate is low, like a 3% home loan, keep paying it slowly and keep investing at the same time. Your investments will likely grow faster than the loan costs you. The order matters more than the amount. Get it wrong and you can spend years feeling responsible while quietly losing money you did not need to lose. So what did the fourth person actually do differently? The one who changed nothing and quietly crossed 170,000 while Sarah was rebuilding, Ryan was checking a number that wasn't growing, and Diana was paying for a car and a flat she didn't need. He set up one automatic transfer. Every time he got paid, a fixed amount moved into his investment account before it ever landed in his regular bank account. He never saw it, so he never missed it, so he never spent it. That is the whole system. He did not check his account every day. He did not react to headlines. He did not make exciting moves or terrified ones. He set the transfer up once and then treated it the same way he treated his electricity bill. Something that just happens, something he does not think about. And every time he got a raise, he increased the automatic amount slightly before he got used to the new salary, before the extra money became normal spending. That single gap, his savings growing slightly faster than his lifestyle, is the entire reason his story has a different ending. Not intelligence, not luck. One automatic transfer and the discipline to never cancel it. 5 years after all three of them hit 100,000, Diana was sitting at almost exactly the same amount she started with. Her salary had gone up, but so had her car, her flat, her lifestyle. Her snowball never got moving. Sarah had worked hard to recover from her losses, but was still behind where she started. 7 years of careful saving, undone in 9 careless days. Ryan still had his 100,000. But those pounds and dollars bought less than they did 5 years ago. The number looked the same on screen. The real value of that number had quietly shrunk. And then there was the fourth person. The boring one. The one who changed nothing after hitting the milestone. Who kept the same automatic investment running. Who ignored every headline. Who simply kept going. 5 years later, that person had quietly crossed 170,000. No drama, no excitement, No story worth telling at a dinner party, just the best result of the 4. Here is the one thing worth writing down. The first 100,000 is the last time how hard you work matters more than how patient you are. After this point, the people who win are not the smartest. They are not the most aggressive. They are the ones who leave it alone. Diana spent it away. Sarah gambled it. Ryan hid it. All 3 were trying to control something that did not need their control. The money needed one thing: to be left alone. Your job from here is simple. Set your next goal. Make your savings automatic. Keep your costs low. And get out of the way. Let the money you worked so hard to build finally do the job it was always designed to do. If this changed how you see your money, subscribe to Marcus Finance now and turn on your notification bell, because you might not find this channel again. You do not want to miss the next video.